What if the secret to a happy life isn't something you find when you're 40 or 50? What if it's something you actually have to build right from the very beginning? Today, we're going to dive into the wisdom of the sages, a truly timeless guide on how they educated children, not just for success, but for a life of deep, unshakable fulfillment. So just take a second and think about it. Where are you really searching for happiness? Is it in that next promotion, that next big purchase? The sages of the past, well, they'd suggest that our modern search is often pointed in completely the wrong direction. They believed the real work doesn't start when we're adults, but much, much earlier. And that right there is the core idea we're going to explore. A truly blessed life isn't some prize we win in adulthood. It's more like a garden that we have to start tending from the very first years of our life, planting seeds of virtue that are going to blossom for a lifetime. So, how does this all unfold? Well, first, we're going to uncover the real source of happiness. Then we'll see how you can sow these seeds of goodness in childhood. We'll explore what a peaceful harvest in our later years actually looks like and how all this can build a legacy that goes beyond time itself. And finally, and maybe most importantly, we'll pinpoint the very first step you can take on this path. Okay, so what is the source? The ancients taught that it's not the material wealth you gather, but the virtues, the wisdom, and the good deeds you cultivate when you're young. That is the only true blessing, the one thing that will genuinely sustain you in your later years. At the very heart of this teaching is this beautiful concept, Phước Điền Tâm Cảnh. It translates to something like, the field of blessings is tilled by the mind. Just think about that for a second. It means our future happiness isn't something we have to go out and find or earn out there. It's cultivated right here inside of us. Every single thought, every intention, it's a seed. And our mind, that's the fertile ground. So if the mind is the field, then the next question is pretty obvious, right? How do we sow the seeds of goodness? And when can we even start? Well, the sage's answer is profound, and it's so simple. You start from the very first moments. Even the smallest child can begin to till their own field of blessings. Just consider the incredible power in this one idea. A child who is taught to think of others in every thought isn't just learning to be nice. No, they are actively creating a vast field of blessings that's going to sustain them for their entire life. A selfless heart planted early is really the ultimate seed for future happiness. Let me share this wonderful story that really brings this to life. There's this child, just 2 years old, who goes to a class. First, they simply learn the words, be filial to your parents. Then they get to observe older kids sharing how they actually practice this. And finally, feeling inspired, the child goes home and completely on their own practices the lesson by bringing a cup of tea to their parents. Learn, observe, practice. That's the foundation, even at age 2. It's amazing. And this is where the magic really happens. That simple cup of tea, it's so much more than that. It's the physical act of tu thân, or self-cultivation. But just watch the ripple effect. The child's sincere act inspires their parents. They, in turn, are moved to be more filial to their own parents. And this is the beginning of Te Gia, harmonizing the entire family. It all flows outward from one small, cultivated act. Now, when you plant seeds and you tend a garden for a whole lifetime, you can expect a beautiful harvest, right? Well, that's exactly what this wisdom promises, a peaceful harvest in our old age. The sages saw a direct, unbreakable link between a virtuous youth and a dignified end. This is known as Thiện Chung, which means a good end. It's actually considered one of the 5 great blessings. It's the ability to pass away peacefully without distress or suffering. And it's not seen as luck, not at all. It's seen as the natural outcome of a life that was filled with accumulated merit and good deeds. And here we can see a really stark contrast. The source material observes that in the past, when the guiding principle for life was kindness, people often passed on peacefully. But today, in a culture that often prioritizes the self above all else, our final moments are more frequently filled with anxiety and fear. The connection is profound. A lifetime of kindness cultivates a peaceful departure. This brings us to an even bigger idea, building a legacy that truly transcends time. Our society often suggests our value peaks somewhere between 20 and 60. But for a person of wisdom, value doesn't peak, it compounds. Their influence just continues to grow, creating a legacy that can echo for centuries. I mean, just take the example of Master Chin Kung. At age 79, his wisdom wasn't fading, it was radiating. Flowing from a sincere heart, his guidance was sought by people from all cultures and religions all around the globe. His value didn't end at 60, it was just getting brighter, illuminating the path for so many others.
And this is not a new idea. Look at Fan Zhengyan from over 800 years ago. His guiding spirit to put the world's concerns before his own created such a powerful moral legacy that his family line continues to be respected and accomplished to this very day. Now that is a harvest that lasts for centuries. So, after exploring these grand historical ideas, where do we even begin, right? How do we build an eternal legacy? Well, it all comes back to a single, personal, and actionable starting point.
The classic text, The Great Learning, it gives us the clear answer. It says that from the highest leader down to the common person, everyone must consider the cultivation of themselves as the root of everything else. It doesn't matter who you are or what you do. The work always starts within.
And so we come full circle. Harmonizing your family, building a better society, leaving a lasting legacy, all of these monumental goals, they all begin with the exact same first step that we saw in that 2-year-old child. Tulthun. Self-cultivation.
And so I'll just leave you with this question to reflect on. As a parent, a teacher, a leader, or simply as a person trying to navigate this life, what kind of field of blessings are you tilling? What is the legacy you truly want to pass on?
If you found this sharing helpful, please subscribe so you don't miss our next one. Thank you for your time.